Welcome to the Filipino American Woman Project podcast show, brought to you by our family on biasboba.com.
We're your co-hosts, Jen Amos
and Nani Dominguez-Smith.
After 3 seasons of sharing stories for Pinays by Pinays, we've gained the knowledge and language to articulate our experiences, and now we're ready to tell our own.
As we venture off into the world of business partnership, we want to bring you along for the ride.
Keep listening to hear how we explore our Pinay identities together as podcasters, content creators, and entrepreneurs.
Now, let's get into the show.
All right, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode here at the Filipino American Woman Project. And as always, I'm Jen Amos, and as always, I have my co-host with me, Nani Dominguez-Smith. Nani, welcome back to the TFAW Project.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy holidays.
Yes. Season's greetings. Lots of exciting things going on. It's a busy month for both of us. 1, because it is the holiday season. And 2, it's our birthday month.
So. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot.
Yes.
I keep forgetting about my birthday.
Yeah, we're super excited. And I want to say, though, there was a time, Nani, where I felt like my birthday was insignificant because it landed in the holidays. And I was reminded of this the other day at the gym when my friends found out that my birthday is December 15. And they're all like, oh, man, that must have been like so tough to celebrate, the holidays and your birthday and all that, huh? And I was like, well, actually, yeah. And I think it's interesting how you guys knew that, because I feel like most people who weren't born in December wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated them saying that. And I said to them, like, yeah, it was hard for a certain time, especially like when I was in college and at the end of finals, in early December, that's when people would go back home to their families during the holidays. So it was really hard for me to like celebrate my birthday with my friends. Fast forward to today, though, I have learned to reframe the way that I look at my birthday around this time of the year. And the one thing I'll share for now is that I like to consider this a very special time of the year because the world is lighting up for me.
Oh,
with all the Christmas lights and festivities and the Christmas music. And,
yes.
And so that's how I see it. Nani, your birthday is closer to Christmas. So I'm curious, like, if you ever ran across that issue of like your birthday and the holidays being at the same time.
I think anyone who has a birthday near any holiday that you get gifts for experiences this, but I was lucky and fortunate enough to have a mom who was always really, really cognizant of that. And so she always made sure, growing up and even now as an adult, she always makes sure to we celebrate the holidays, obviously, like we do it up pretty big, but she always makes sure to do something very separate and draw that line between Christmas and my birthday and never combine my gifts because, a lot of people will do that.
Yeah.
Since they're so close. My birthday is the 21st. So I'm literally right on the edge of Christmas. Yeah. So I know what you mean about when I was younger. It used to be kind of frustrating trying to celebrate my birthday with my friends because everyone's with their family by the time my birthday rolls around. So we always have to do it. Like this year, we're going to celebrate my birthday with my friends 2 weeks early or it will be 2 weeks late or, it's always not on my actual birthday or not around my actual birthday. We have to work around people's schedules because of the holidays. So yeah, that did used to kind of get to me a little bit, but also I think I love Christmas time even more than I love my birthday. So it
kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, it kind of is this double entendre where sometimes it's depressing and sometimes it's ooh, 2 celebrations,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally hear you on that. And I'm glad that as my co-host, you can totally relate because sometimes it's just one of those things. Because in addition to that, I'm also a middle child. And very often people say, oh, middle childs are often forgotten or they have to kind of pave their own way because
so this doesn't help. Yeah.
They're not the oldest or the youngest. And on top of that, my birthday is in December. And so anyway, I'm not here to just air out my dirty laundry. But what I am trying to say is that I am really grateful to be in a place to kind of reframe the way I look at the holiday season. And honestly, I am incredibly excited for this holiday season. So many people are getting together. There's so many ugly sweater parties or holiday parties or Friendsgivings and stuff like that around this time. And I'm just really grateful to have lived in my current place now to be able to have these types of relationships and connections and friendships where I do get invited to things now. So I'm really happy about that. It's definitely a big shift from what my life has been like out here for the last 4 years living in the East Coast.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just that time of the year to count my blessings.
And also, I feel like the older I get, the more I want to celebrate my birthday and just myself in general differently. You know, instead of like
Yes.
having a big party or like having all my friends together in one place, I'm like more interested in like a spa weekend or, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Some kind of like retreat, like where I can just be alone in peace and quiet for a little bit, you know, like
Yes.
that type of celebration is looking more and more attractive to me the older I get.
Yeah, I will tell you that ever since I turned 30, I entertained the idea of celebrating my birthday by myself
Yeah.
every year. And I've
I
done it every
remember.
year.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've done it every year so far. And I got to tell you, it's great. And
Yeah.
especially in this season in my life, while, I am still like a professional and I don't have a family just yet, it's like, it is a great opportunity. Like, it's great for me to do this. And I imagine if one day I do have a family, I'm going to like cherish this time, like keep this tradition going and really value it like more and more, this
Yeah.
alone time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally hear you on that. And yeah, I feel like every year, I mean, someone told me this and I remember when they turned 50. It was like a good friend of mine from like years ago. And I was like, happy birthday. How'd you celebrate it? And he was all like, he's like, the thing is like, as you get older, your birthdays get quieter and quieter. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was
Yeah.
like, that
By
probably will be
choice.
me. Yeah, by choice. Like, I think I'm going in that direction. But
Yeah, totally.
anyway, we are incredibly just excited for the holiday season and our birthdays, as you all can tell. We're going to shift gears now, and we have a ton of updates we want to share with all of you. I think really what our co-host meetings have started to become in these recordings is us like sharing what's going on in our community, which I love. And I know we mentioned this a couple of episodes ago where we said like, it's so awesome that we're not really creating new content. We're just reporting what's going on in the community. And I know that when we started season 4, our main goal is to be more embedded in our community. And so we have done that in various ways this year, starting with the newest one that started during Filipino American History Month when we started season 4, the TFAW Project, which is our reflection series. And so, Nani, could you believe that like it's been a couple of, I guess, months now or weeks now since we've done this? And we've already had like 4 groups go through our reflection series.
Yeah.
And also, do you still remember like when we didn't know what the name was going to be? Like, it's just so crazy, like how much it's developed already in just the last couple weeks.
Yeah. I'm really glad that we made the decision to get back on Instagram, and we did it so thoughtfully, with our capacity in mind and with our kind of disdain for the app and social media in general. I really like that we kind of had a more calculated approach rather than just getting on there and trying to just jump right in, because it seems to work in a way that's good for all of us. And, when we put the prompts in there, we've been discussing this on the back end a little bit, is like not everybody has the time or space to respond right then and there, nor do we expect you to or want you to. But we do want to keep, obviously, the series moving on the right track. So we are trying to also just take the feedback that we get from you guys and the experience that you want to share with us through that and continue to tweak it in a way that works best for all of us to engage, but not overwhelm.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've already been kind of experimenting. Like even Patricia was saying like, hey, there are some days where people aren't sharing anything. And so would it be best to like wait till someone responds, or, do we keep moving along? Or we have those days where like Saturdays, for example, when people finally have time to catch up and, slow down and grab some coffee and have their reflection time. And they send us, paragraphs upon paragraphs of catching up to all the days. And so it's been really interesting to see when people take the time to be on there, or, during the week when it's like really busy, but we're figuring it out. That's kind of been our philosophy, is to build as we go and, really pay extra attention to how people are responding to these series. And I think it's just continuing to get better and better as we have more people engage with us. And from what I've noticed, it seems like a lot of people in our reflection series have had a lot of breakthroughs, saying like, wow, I never had a space like this before, or, I never really shared this before. I remember there was one particular person, I won't say their name because this is all very like personal stuff, but someone said like, oh, I often don't talk about this part of my life because I often get flack for it. Like people often like kind of dismiss it or minimize it. And so I kind of hold it closely to myself and only share it with certain people. And the fact that this person actually went out of their way to share it with us and in detail and with photos. It was like, wow, like, again, continuing to be reminded that we have created a space where, our community feels safe to disclose the issues they have in their personal lives and their family and their professional lives, or just their general journey in life. And it's truly an honor to have and share this space with everyone. And also for us to check in when we're ready too, because we can't always be there every day. Like we have so much we juggle ourselves. And so for all of us to give ourselves that grace in the reflection series, I think it's the reason why we still have people say, oh, can you add me to the next one? Can you add me to the next one? And I was like, yeah, sure.
That's another thing is a lot of people that join for the first time then want to do it again and again and again, which is great. We love that and we want that. And I think my favorite part of the TFAW project just in general is creating these spaces to like be interactive with you all, especially on an ongoing basis. So like the reflection series is not meant to be an ongoing thing. It's supposed to be like a one-time thing. And then we have other spaces like our Discord community or biasboba.com that you can join if you want to kind of deepen that conversation or even reflection with yourself. But just know that we don't take that lightly, creating those spaces for you to feel safe and vulnerable and share things that you don't get to, in your normal conversation in your day-to-day lives. We don't take that lightly. And we are trying to streamline that process in a way that is really easy for you guys to plug into that on a regular, ongoing basis. So we're loving the conversations that are in the IG reflection series, and we're hoping to expand on that as we continue to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to everyone who has been part of our reflection series so far, whether you're new or you keep asking us to add you to the next group. We love it. And also just want to give a shout out to our community manager, Patricia, for really staying on top of sharing our daily prompts and all that. It takes a village to run this reflection series, and we do it all for free. So, if you all want to engage with us and you don't know where to start, but you want to start somewhere, we highly recommend that you reach out to us on Instagram and DM us and let us know that you are interested in learning more about the reflection series, and we'll be more than happy to add you to the next one. So as a reminder, it's a 5-day reflection series. Every day we share one reflection prompt, and it's totally up to you if you want to answer that day or later in that week. But it's just a great opportunity for you to self-reflect in community with the TFAW community, with your fellow Pinais and anyone else who loves our community and enjoys being a part of this experience. Often what we do is we also, like when you join, we encourage you to invite your friends. If you enjoyed it the first time and you want to do it again, but you want to do it with people that we welcome that. And that's one thing I like is, once we start adding people to the next group, we say, hey, we're going to start on this certain day. Until then, feel free to invite people who you want to share this experience with. And so it's been really fun to witness how other people invite their friends and then what they learn about each other, in answering these reflection questions together.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that it kind of feels like you can customize your experience with it by doing that, right? And especially if we have certain people that have invited multiple friends in multiple different cohorts. So it's like if someone's not available this week or, they have too much on their plate or something, you can always get in line for the next one. So that's also something I love about it is before we stopped doing interviews on the TFAW Project podcast, we had a long waiting list of people that wanted to be on the show. So this is like a much more accessible way for us to open up that conversation and also offer kind of a collective learning experience where you can get feedback or just learn about other people. And surprisingly, I feel like it resonates the same as when we did actual one-to-one interviews. And like you said, people are coming out and saying, oh, wow, I've never really had a space to share this before, or I never really felt like this was information that anyone cared about. And it's like, hi, hello, we care.
Yeah.
We want to know your story. We want to know your background. We want to get a snapshot of your life today. We, at the very least, if this isn't conversations that you feel comfortable having with your family or your friends or your coworkers, like we, by all means, are here for it. And we want to know your story. So this is just a really, again, accessible way for us to open up that opportunity to anyone who wants to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So, moving on, for some people who really enjoy the 5 day series and want to keep the conversation going, in fact, they want to not just learn about themselves, but they want to learn about their overall history and Filipino culture. That's where our book club comes in. Our book club has been our monthly get together with our community. And I've been loving this group because I feel like this is sort of like, even though we welcome everyone, for me, what it feels like is kind of me advancing my studies of myself and our community as a whole by, reading whatever book we are assigning at that time and just having these open conversations of how each of us are interpreting the book. And so, last month, for example, we were very fortunate to start talking about Dr. Abby's book, Speak Up Anak. And we actually had Dr. Abby, the author of the book, show up and chatted up with our community. And it was a different experience. And I got to tell you, that when she had to hop off, because she was joining us during her lunch break, when she had to hop off, one thing that one of our book club members said is that it's very interesting to talk about a book with the author there, like being able to talk to her directly. And I remember following up with Dr. Abby afterward and asking her, hey, so how did you like it? And she said, I never really spoke to people who were really invested in reading the book. Like, sure, people have told me that they've read the book maybe, or they heard about the book, or they bought the book, but to actually like dissect it and have this open conversation about it is different for me. And so it seemed like, from my perspective, it was a positive experience for everyone. It was a new and positive experience. And, so much that in the second half of the book club, it kind of started becoming my therapy session. I don't remember what we talked about, but I do remember I was talking about my stuff.
Missed this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so y'all going to have to listen to the replay if you support us a minimum of 1 cup of boba on biasboba.com. Or, of course, if you're a biasboba.com member, it'll be available to you. But yeah, I don't remember what I said. I just remember I was talking a lot. And I'm sure if I listen to the replay, it'll come back to me, obviously. But like, yeah, it was a really good session, Nani. And we definitely missed you. Your absence was definitely felt.
Aww.
But, now that you're here, and I know that you recently finished the book, do you have any general thoughts about the book without spoiling it that you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah. I wasn't at the book club last week because I was sick as a dog, and I literally sat down for 1 second and closed my eyes and fell asleep for 2 hours. So that is why I did not attend. But I was prepared because I had been reading the book, and I continued reading the book so much so that I just finished it. And our next book club meeting is not until next month. So that actually works out because now I can give it to Fufi so she can read it.
There you go.
So we can both be prepared for next time, although we weren't this last time. But yeah, it definitely is that it's an easy read.
Yeah.
It's easy to breeze through as long as you have the time to sit down and do it. But it's also very thought provoking. It's not necessarily like I want to take notes on everything that she says in the book. It's more so I'm taking notes on things that, like the little windows or doors that it's opening in my mind, So like the concepts that she's introducing are about how assertive you are based on how kind of in touch you are with your Filipino culture, or how much those Filipino values were ingrained in you, growing up. And every example she gives, or every story that she tells from these like 500 people, I think, that she interviewed across the United States, just always gets me to think about like, how am I oriented in society? How am I oriented? Like, where am I coming from? How does my cultural identity affect that? And like juxtaposing that with someone like my best friend, for example, who is the same, cultural identity as me. We're both like mixed Filipino Americans, Filipino American women specifically, yet we're so different. And I think one of the key like differences between us is this like assertiveness factor. And it's interesting because I've never really thought about it before, but even thinking back to like, in the book, Dr. Abby talks about how to be assertive in different roles of the different types of relationships you have in your life. And like with me and my best friend, for example, thinking back to like high school and how we interacted with teachers, like she got kicked out our freshman year of high school. So we ended up going to different schools.
Oh my God.
Like, and I have the same like behavioral tendencies as she does, but I would never act out like that in the classroom because I would get fucking flacked at home for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that I could come home after that and my parents would just be cool. Not that her parents were cool with it, but like just little things like that. Like her and her sister both got kicked out of our school.
Oh
so it's
my
like,
gosh.
there's something behind that, and like, it really comes back now that I've been introduced to the context of Dr. Abby's book. It keeps coming back to me, this topic of assertiveness, like the way that we interact differently with positions of authority just out in public, teachers, our parents.
Yeah.
And then also thinking about our relationships with our parents, like her relationship with her dad versus my relationship with my dad, her relationship with her mom versus my relationship with my mom. And it even, I was with her yesterday kind of talking to her about this. And it made me, for some reason, I started talking about you and your sister and like, is it a difference in personality or like what informs? And with you and your sister, you guys had like different experiences growing up because of the age difference, So like your mom and your dad probably treated her, differently than they treated you and your brother and vice versa. And so how does that inform the way that you go forth in the world and think to assert yourself? It's a really, really interesting topic. And I think that I'm really excited is Dr. Abby joining us in the next book club session or no?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So for our next book club, which is the third Friday of December, which I think is December 16th, the day after my birthday, BT dubs.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. I should know that. Yeah, so December 16th. For that one, if anyone wants to join this is actually going to be our, in a way, holiday party. We're planning on not assigning any chapters of Dr. Abby's book. And it's going to be an opportunity for people who, whether you're new and want to just check out our book club, or if you've been part of our book club and you want to share any lingering thoughts of any of the books that we read throughout the year, it's just going to be an opportunity to wrap up, like just wrap things up.
Wow.
And then come next year in January, the third Friday of January, that's when we're going to pick up Dr. Abby's book again. I imagine by then we will have asked people to finish the book and we'll bring her back on and, share any final thoughts or ask any questions directly to Dr. Abby about it. But I believe that's the plan we have right now is, this upcoming book club, third Friday of December is going to be our holiday party. Anyone can come. You don't have to have read the book. Just come out. We'd love to see you on Zoom. And then following January, the third Friday of January, that's when we'll pick up where we left off with Dr. Abby's book.
Love. Okay. Well, in January, then I am excited to kind of expand this conversation with Dr. Abby. And I know that she has some other stuff planned for us as well.
Yes.
To kind of continue this conversation on into the new year, which we will go into further detail about in just a moment. But yeah, as of now, reading the book has started a lot of wheels spinning in my head. So I'm just really appreciative of that because not every book that we read has that effect on me. Normally it's just like, ooh, this is a lot of information to absorb. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to just let it soak all in, and it's more of like a reflecting thing. But this is something that comes up every single day, you know what I mean, in my life and in interactions with my husband or my mom or, someone on the street or whatever. I'm now constantly thinking about that at the forefront of my mind is like, oh, am I being assertive enough? Or why am I not being assertive right now is more so the question that comes up for me. So yeah, I'm totally into like the self-help, personal development kind of books. So this has like been right up my alley.
Yeah. And I think one thing we talked about in the last book club or maybe it was between you and I don't remember, all the conversations just kind of meshed together at this point.
Yeah.
But one of the things we mentioned is that this book, Speak Up and Knock, is kind of like us applying like the first couple of books, America is in the Heart, Little Manila is in the Heart. And then now, what did we read before that? I feel like we read, anyway. Oh yeah.
America is in the Heart.
Yeah, so America is in the Heart by Carlos Bulosan, Little Manila is in the Heart by Don Mabalan, Latinos of Asia, there we go, by Anthony Christian Ocampo. And so all these books was really about us like understanding our history and our place in the world, is sort of how I summarize it. And I feel like Dr. Abby's book is more about, okay, how do we apply what we know now? And really what it comes down to is this assertiveness. Like how in touch are we with our culture? And is it because of how in touch we are with our culture that may be hindering us from being assertive? Or are we really assertive because we were not in touch with our culture kind of thing? And I like how you mentioned that there are some moments now where you're like, okay, am I being assertive enough here? And we actually had that discussion in the last book club where, like, for example, one of our book club members always has her name mispronounced. Like people always mispronounce her name. And it's those moments where she's all like, okay, do I correct them or not? And like, if this keeps happening over and over again, should I just stick to my nickname because it's easier and everyone can pronounce it, or do I correct them on it? And so we started asking everyone, like, have you guys ever experienced a situation that it's kind of like this reoccurring pet peeve that
Yeah.
keeps like, like annoying you because it keeps coming up over and over again. Kind of like the whole, where are you from? No, really, where are you from?
Yeah.
But in this case, like, for her, it was her name. Have you ever dealt with something like that? And if you did, how did you respond to it? Like, did you just let it slide, or did you actually like correct the person on the spot? And like I said, it may not just be the name pronunciation. It could be, let's say that you go to a fast food restaurant and they forgot to add fries to your order. Like, do you just
Mhm.
drive off, or do you go back in line and say, hey, you forgot my fries?
Yeah.
And so it's those little situations. And, someone mentioned in the book club, they said, for me, it's more like a time is money situation. So I have to calculate, like, is this
Yeah.
worth my time to like
Absolutely.
correct this wrong or not? Like
Yeah.
things like that. So it's really interesting to hear everyone's interpretation or how they apply it in their day to day. And, kind of what you're saying now, having that self awareness
Yeah.
to make sure that if you do have the opportunity to be assertive and it is a good calculative decision to do it, will you do it?
Yeah. I just want to share while we're here, and since I have the book in front of me,
Oh, yay.
one second, because I know
How
you can't hear
convenient.
me. Yeah. So I do want to just share my last take on this topic before we move on. As I was saying, as I was reading it, I'm kind of like fighting the idea of needing to be assertive, in
Mm,
that same example that you give. Oh, someone mispronounces your name or they forget the fries. Like for
mhm,
me, I look at correcting things like that, little, small things like that aren't that big of a deal until they pile up and continue.
mm,
I look at things like that as like being obnoxious. And
yeah.
so I kind of was fighting the idea of needing to be more assertive in my relationships or in these microaggressive situations as I'm reading the book, even though, she's explaining to me why I am that way and why it is important for Filipino Americans specifically who deal with this to learn assertiveness in whatever way is like comfortable for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as I'm thinking about why that's important, I just want to read one line that I highlighted from the second to last page of the book, which I think sums it up really well. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, well, I don't need to be assertive. This is just the way that I am. And
Mm,
I've gotten through life just fine like this,
mhm.
which is fine if you want to continue to think that. But I just want to give you some food for thought, and I'll read one paragraph from the book. It's
Okay.
called The New Phil Am, which is coincidental for a reason that we'll share later.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
As Filipino Americans living in the United States during these first 100 years after the 1965 immigration changes, the definition and description of our experience and identity will change from minute to minute. Each decision we make and each interaction we have will redefine our identity and the way we are perceived in the world. When a Filipino celebrity like Bruno Mars or Olivia Rodrigo rises to popularity, people will see us differently. When a movie like Crazy Rich Asian shows the world various Asian personalities and characters, people change their stereotypes about us. Perceptions about Filipinos are formed each time they hear news about the Philippines president, the latest typhoon in the Philippines, or the latest Asian hate crime. We have the ability to shape those perceptions. So
Mm,
that is where it kind of comes full circle for me in terms of like, why is being assertiveness important? Why is that something that I should become self aware about in the first place?
got
It's
it.
how
I
you're
like that.
modeling all our culture, and it's how
Yes.
you're showing others, like she said, it's how we're changing the stereotypes because we're increasing visibility into our culture when we're assertive. When we're
Yeah.
not assertive, we're not giving people that visibility into who we are because we're just keeping it to ourselves.
Mhm. Ah, that's so beautiful. Well
I
said.
know I
That
wish I was in book club for that, but now
well,
it's
now
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 it's here.
now the world knows, and you said your piece.
Yeah, I did. I did. I had to get that off my chest. Now we can move
Yeah,
on.
no, we could definitely move on. And so, as a reminder, if you have been involved in our reflection series, or if you haven't, first and foremost, if you want to get involved with us in any way, reflection series is the best way to get started. It's free, it's on Instagram. All you have to do is private message us, and we'll be happy to add you to the next cohort. The second thing is if you want to continue these conversations, maybe you want to have more intellectual conversations. That's what our book club is for. I mean, just everything that Nani shared and everything that I shared just now, like we have these conversations for 2 hours at a time once a month. And so if you're looking for that deeper, having deeper conversations like that, we would love to have you. All it takes is that you support us a minimum of 1 cup of boba on biasboba.com, and you're in. You get all the updates on biasboba.com on when our next meeting is going to be, what we're going to be reading. And that's it. And the good thing too is that even if you can't make it to the monthly book club, you will get the replay available straight on biasboba.com. And once again, all you have to do is support us by a minimum of 1 cup of boba on biasboba.com. And speaking of which, let me go ahead and give a shout out to some of the people who have recently supported us on there. I want to give a shout out to Jen, aka J Rose, on Instagram. And she actually is part of our reflection series. And so she just said, enjoy. And then, oh, that's so funny. Okay. Her response on, I just realized this just dawned on me. Okay. Her comment says enjoy, IN dash JOY. And what she's saying, okay, this is what I think Jen is saying. She's saying enjoy, like ENJOY, but she's saying joy because, wait, hold up. Am I getting this right? Wait, enjoy.
I think she's saying enjoy because she wants to be in.
Okay, I think I read it wrong. I thought it was like
her
name.
Listening to this right now, please reach out to us and let us know.
Let us know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, maybe she was saying enjoy, like she wants to be in the book club.
Yeah, I think she was kind of saying like with love. Okay, I think that's what she meant to say, like with love. And her way of saying is enjoy, boba. But I also think it means enjoy, like ENJOY. I think it's a pun. It's like enjoy
the boba. But also,
enjoy with joy is what I think is what she's trying to say.
It's a play on words that's going right over our heads right now.
Yeah. So Jen, if you can reach out to us and let us know if we got that right. But Thank you so much for supporting us. 3 cups of boba, which is awesome. We always love it when people want to go up and beyond and support us with more than a minimum of 1 cup of boba. Have to give a shout out to Dr. Abby, who decided right before book club to support us 5 cups of boba. Dr. Abby totally didn't have to do that, but she did. So Dr. Abby, thank you so much for supporting us there on biasboba.com. And we want to continue to welcome all of you who want to be part of the book club. Again, all it takes is a minimum of 1 cup of boba and you're kind of in for life. Basically for as long as we run the book club, you are welcome to be a part of it. And also you're welcome to have access to the replays, even if you cannot make it live. We have it available for you on biasboba.com. All right, moving on, Nani, for people who want to continue being more involved or digesting more of our content, and more importantly, really showing their financial support for our show, because as you know, this show really literally wouldn't be possible right now if it wasn't for your financial support. Everyone who's been a biasboba.com member, everyone who has supported us even a minimum of 1 cup of boba, our lights are on because of you. Now, full transparency, Nani and I are not getting paid yet. And that's really the direction we're trying to go to with advertisers and our future, projects and things that we have in mind, which we'll continue to share as this month rolls out. But the fact is that you all are helping us support our overhead, to keep this going, being able to have Dennis make us sound amazing, have Patricia work with us, and, really just giving us the means to make the show possible. And so we truly, truly thank all of you. And for anyone that wants to continue to see the show going, I think we talked about this in the past, Nani, it's like if you want to be the change in the world or you want to see the change in the world, part of it is putting your money where you want to see the change. Maybe you yourself will not be an influencer. Maybe you yourself will not be a podcaster like us, but you want to continue to see people like us succeed. And part of that is, investing in these kinds of projects. And so for people who really want to continue to see the show going on, especially for 2023, we would love to invite you to be a biasboba.com member. That is a monthly or annual commitment. And if you do choose to do an annual commitment, you actually get the first month off. So there's that. But all you have to do is just support us on biasboba.com and choose to become a member and show your monthly support. I do want to give a shout out to 2 people who've recently joined us on biasboba.com. And so first is to Angela Miro. And I'm going to spell out your last name, Angela, because I can't say it out loud. And maybe you can help me with this later because I know you're part of our reflection series. But Angela Miro, last name is spelled DAWE. She messaged us on biasboba.com as she became a new member and said she's really looking forward to connecting in this new way. So Angela is actually Angel in our reflection series, Nani. She's the one in Europe. She's the one with the amazing English accent when she left us an or a video message. And so Angel, just want to give you a shout out and welcome you to the biasboba.com family. Nani, any thoughts for Angel or Angela?
Yes, welcome Angels/Angela. I don't know which you prefer, but we have not been strangers on Instagram. So I appreciate all of your engagement there and your willingness to just dive in with us here. I know that you were part of our reflection series. I think you joined the Discord channel and became a member. So we are just here for all of your support, and we hope that you are enjoying all the content that's now exclusively available to you.
Yes, yes. And so if anyone's ever curious to know, first and foremost, when you become a member, you get access to our private podcast, Chismis with Jen and Nani. And what I actually found is that even though you can get the replay of the book club on biasboba.com, someone brought this up where they said, hey, is there another way to listen to the book club replays without having to log into biasboba.com all the time? And the answer is yes. When you become a member, you have your own RSS feed to subscribe to our private podcast, Chismis with Jen and Nani. And you can listen to our book club replay straight from the podcast, like straight from your, preferred podcasting app. In addition to that, Chismis with Jen and Nani, what we've been told is the quote unquote rated R version of TFAW Project, where Nani and I really get unfiltered there in regards to our journey as podcasters, content creators, and entrepreneurs in working together and, just kind of sharing some chismis, like actual chismis in our personal lives. And so you're able to really come into our living room and you get to learn more about us as human beings, I think is what we're trying to say. And also our imperfect journey to take our podcast show to the next level. And so if you, again, want to continue to financially support us and, support Filipina-led media, or if you want the rated R version of the TFAW Project, then becoming a biasboba.com member would be great for you. We'd love to have you be part of the family. I do have one more shout out, Nani, but I'm curious if you had any thoughts.
No.
Okay. All right. All good. Makes it easy. Okay. And so the next biasboba.com member, our newest member, is Mary Nell Fernandez. And Mary Nell, please let me know if I'm mispronouncing your name. I don't know if it's Marie Nell or Mary Nell. She's actually actively messaging us right now on Instagram, but on biasboba.com, she had left a comment as a new member saying, thank you for sharing your stories and creating an authentic, beautiful, informative, and supportive space for Filipinas. I love all those descriptions that she said, by the way. Finding your podcast has been a game changer for me and has inspired me to speak my truth. Mary Nell, we appreciate you. We welcome you to the biasboba.com family. And we're just so happy that this show has impacted you so much that you want to financially support us. Nani?
Yes. Thank you so much, Mary Nell. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we look forward to just getting to know you more and being in community with you.
Yes, absolutely. And she's already been messaging us on Instagram. So shout out to you. I have to respond to your messages when we have time. We're recording right now.
Yes.
But yeah, we are incredibly grateful for whether you've been involved in our reflection series or you decided to take it a step further and join our book club, or you want to continue to take it a step further and be a biasboba.com member. We are just incredibly grateful for all of you. I know that in the holiday season, it's that time to spend a lot and take advantage of Black Fridays and, buy a bunch of gifts for family members or just spoil yourself for the holidays. And so the fact that people are going out of their way in this holiday season to financially support us means a lot. So thank you all so much. And moving on, Nani, I know that I was trying to keep this short and here we are at 40 minutes. So let me continue to push along here.
So the end of the year is approaching, you guys. 2022 is almost over and we have been busy planning for 2023 for once. Normally, stumble into the new year and
planning
see where
ahead
it takes us. But we have actually been doing a lot of really good planning for you guys in 2023, starting at the end of the year this year. So please stay tuned for those announcements coming soon. And what we will give you as a little teaser is that starting with a fun, interactive vision boarding activity we're going to be hosting on Zoom that you are free to join if you're available. We have not set a date yet, but it will be coming towards the end of the year / beginning of 2023. So keep your eyes peeled for those announcements, probably in our newsletter, maybe in our next recording. Who knows? Stay tuned on both channels so you don't miss it. And make sure you RSVP to join us because that's going to be really, really fun. I don't know if you guys enjoy vision boarding as much as I do, but I, throughout the pandemic, did it several times, just with my friends and stuff on FaceTime. And it's really, really fun to do in community with others. So as Jen and I set off into the new year, setting our intentions for all these goals that we have for the TFAW Project and for ourselves, we're welcoming you into that space to join us in doing that as well. And Dr. Abby may or may not be leading that process.
Yeah, you'll have to find out. In fact, if you are listening to this episode at the time that it's being released on Friday, I think I don't know what this Friday is going to be. But anyway, if you're listening to this on Friday, like the time that this episode just got published, we are actually going on Instagram Live later today at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And maybe later today, we will get into more detail of what it's going to look like. And maybe we'll announce the date of this vision board, but it will take place sometime before the end of the year. In fact, I think Nani and I may take some time off for the rest of the year recording so we can put, all of our efforts into wrapping up the year with all of you. So in addition to our book club on December 16th, we're planning on having a vision board get together probably sometime in the last week or two of December before the new year. And we would very much love to have you there. Again, if you want to know the actual date, either check it out on our newsletter or, check us out on Instagram Live later today if you're listening to this the day that it's been published. And we'll be happy to make that announcement and flesh out more details for you and what to expect from there. Other than that, Nani, I think we shared everything. So let me just do a quick recap. We talked about Reflection Series. We talked about our book club. We gave a shout out to our biasboba.com supporters and our biasboba.com members. We hinted at a collab, maybe not, with Dr. Abby. We talked about the vision board coming up later this month. Oh, and the last thing that we are going to hint at for like 30 seconds is one of the biggest things that Nani and I have been talking about right now is recognizing that we are engaging with all of you on so many different platforms, and so much that we're thinking like, okay, is this like, are we spreading ourselves out too thin? And are people understanding sort of like, how do they come into our community and how do they get deeper and deeper if they want to? And we realize that we're kind of scattered all over the place. And so we're having talks now about possibly consolidating all of our stuff, all the ways that we connect with you into one place. We're not going to tell you what it is just yet, but Nani, any other teasers you want to share about this consolidation that we're doing before the new year?
Yes, there is, because this is going to be such a pivotal change or transition in the listener experience for the TFAW Project family. So if you are one of the people that we shouted out earlier, or you're a member of our book club, or you are involved in our Discord channel, then you already know that we are in several different places. And as I have said before, thank you to all the people who stay with us, and make the effort to familiarize themselves with all these different platforms. We do not take that lightly. We don't take it for granted. And we are doing what we can this year, making it a top priority to streamline that engagement process and have everything in one place so that you don't have to switch back and forth and ask questions on where you can find replays of what and all that stuff. We are trying to get ourselves together this year, you guys, and it's going to have a really high payoff for anyone who wants to be in community with us. It's just going to be so much easier and so much interactive. And it's just going to be one place where we can combine all the different events and courses and workshops and posts
everything
and conversations, and just one place where we can do everything. And I'm already glued to it, you guys.
So. Y'all have no idea. Like, I opened up my Slack channel like the other day, and like Nani just sent me like this entire proposal, like just all her notes on like what she has in mind. And I have to say, Nani, I am just so grateful that, like, when I first presented the idea, I was like dreading it, but I knew it was going to be a good thing. But I was dreading it because I hate when Scott does this to me, when he wants to pivot to something better. And I know it's better, but I just hate it. It feels like I'm moving houses.
The front end.
I hate all the front end stuff. And so the fact that like you leaned into it and you're like, oh, we got to do this. Like, this is it, Like, I'm just so happy that you are excited about it, because it makes the dread for me less dreadful. And so I'm excited about it. And actually, we're going to share an exclusive conversation about this on Chismis with Jen and Nani. So if you want to know exactly what we're talking about, we're going to be covering that on Chismis with Jen and Nani for our biasboba.com members to get into the specifics. But until then, I'm so excited to do this with you, Nani. I'm just so excited to continue to lean into this, this entrepreneurial journey with you and really our community. And, we hope that for 2023, we really have a better, convenient, exciting way for all of you to continue to engage with us and, grow together and support each other and all that good stuff. And lots going on in addition to holidays and our birthdays and, work.
Yes.
That's always a thing. We got to pay our bills still. And now like really making this pivot to continue to serve all of you. And of course, for us to make it easier to engage with all of you. So I'm excited, Nani. So happy holidays. And
Happy holidays.
But yeah, that's it. We're going to wrap this up. And so thank you all so much for continuing to listen to our show and support us, and most of all, engage with us or financially support us. It does affirm what we're doing, and we are just excited to continue to grow and evolve with all of you. Until then, we'll chat with you in the next episode. Tune in next time.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Filipino American Woman Project podcast show.
Do you want to continue to be part of the conversation? Then join our Discord community for free today. Check out the link in the show notes to join us now.
And don't forget to subscribe to our weekly newsletter for the latest show updates and episode releases. The link is also available in the show notes.
Lastly, if you wish to support us on our journey, consider showing us some love on biasboba.com.
That's all for now. Chat with you next time.
Yay!